1. The power of emotional distance. Her mind fills the silence you leave behind. In a world addicted to attention, the Sigma male weaponizes silence. He doesn't chase. He doesn't explain. He simply withdraws, and in that absence, her mind becomes a battlefield. She replays every glance, every word, every moment he gave her. She wonders what she did wrong, what he's thinking where he went. Emotional distance isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's the art of letting her feel the void and realize how much space he occupied in her psyche. The Sigma male doesn't beg for validation. He doesn't need to be understood. He lets his silence speak louder than any confession. And in that silence, she begins to unravel. She starts to question her worth, her power, her hold over him. The more he pulls away, the more she leans in. The more he disappears, the more she searches. He becomes a ghost she can't exorcise, a presence she can't forget. Emotional distance isn't passive, it's magnetic. It creates tension, mystery, and longing. And when she finally realizes that he's not punishing her, he's protecting his peace, she begins to chase not just him, but the version of herself that felt whole in his presence. That's the paradox. The Sigma male doesn't need her, but she needs the version of herself that only exists when he's near. And that's why she can't resist him. 2. Mastery over self equals mastery over her. When you control your emotions, you control the frame. The Sigma male is a fortress. While others crumble under pressure, he remains unmoved. He doesn't react, he responds. He doesn't explode, he observes. In every interaction, he holds the emotional frame. She tests him. She pushes. She tries to provoke. But he's immovable, and that mystery drives her wild. Emotional mastery isn't just discipline, it's dominance. It's the ability to remain calm when others lose themselves. The Sigma male doesn't flinch when she cries, yells, or withdraws. He doesn't chase chaos. He watches it burn and walks away untouched. That control makes him dangerous, not because he's cold, but because he's sovereign. He owns his emotions. He doesn't outsource his peace, and that makes him irresistible. She's used to men who fold, who plead, who panic. But the Sigma male is different. He's the eye of the storm, the calm in the chaos. And when she realizes she can't shake him, she starts to question her own power. She starts to wonder what he's hiding, what he's thinking, what he feels. That curiosity becomes obsession, and that obsession becomes attraction. Emotional mastery isn't just about self-control. It's about creating a gravitational pull. When you control your emotions, you control the energy of the room. And when she can't read you, she starts chasing the answers. That's when the game flips. That's when she starts chasing you. 3. The lone wolf's aura. Solitude isn't weakness, it's magnetism. The Sigma male walks alone, not because he's rejected, but because he chooses it. His solitude isn't a punishment. It's a forge. While others drown in noise, he sharpens his mind, builds his body, and crafts his vision. He doesn't need a crowd. He doesn't need approval. And that independence makes him irresistible. She sees him from afar, focused, silent, untouchable, and she wonders what world he lives in. The lone wolf doesn't bark. He doesn't beg. He builds. And that aura pulls her in like gravity. Solitude is misunderstood. Weak men fear it. Strong men embrace it. The Sigma male uses solitude to become dangerous, not to others, but to mediocrity. He reads. He trains. He plans. He evolves. And when he re-enters the world, he's sharper, stronger, and more mysterious than ever. She notices. She feels it. She's drawn to it, not because he's loud, but because he's silent. Not because he's available, but because he's elusive. The lone wolf doesn't chase, he attracts. And when she realizes he's not lonely, but lethal, she starts to crave his attention. She wants to be the exception. She wants to be the one who breaks through. But the Sigma male doesn't open easily. He doesn't offer entry. He guards his world, and that makes her want it even more. 4. Purpose over pleasure. She's drawn to the man who doesn't need her. The Sigma male doesn't orbit around women. He orbits around purpose. While others bend their routines, compromise their goals, and dilute their ambition for fleeting romance, the Sigma remains loyal to his mission. He's not cold. He's focused, and that focus is magnetic. She sees it in his eyes, the fire that isn't lit by her presence, but by something deeper. A vision, a calling, a code. He doesn't text back instantly. He doesn't rearrange his schedule. He doesn't perform for attention. And that indifference isn't rejection, it's sovereignty. He's not trying to impress her. He's trying to evolve. And that clarity makes her feel something she can't explain. She's used to being the center of gravity. But with him, she's just another orbiting body. And that shift makes her crave his validation. She wants to be part of his world, but he doesn't offer entry easily. He's not building a kingdom for her. He's building it for himself. And if she's worthy, she might earn a place beside him. But he'll never sacrifice the throne for the thrill. That's what makes him irresistible. He's not a man who needs her. He's a man she needs to feel complete. And the more he prioritizes purpose over pleasure, the more she sees him as the rarest kind of man, the one who can't be bought, distracted, or seduced off his path. 5. Mystery is magnetic. The less you reveal, the more she imagines. The Sigma male is a walking paradox, silent but intense, distant but unforgettable. He doesn't overshare. He doesn't explain. He lets her wonder. And that mystery becomes obsession. In a world of oversharing and emotional chaos, he's the calm in the storm. She doesn't know what he's thinking. She doesn't know what he wants. And that uncertainty drives her deeper. The Sigma doesn't play games. He lives by code. And when she realizes she can't decode him, she starts chasing the answers. That's the power of mystery. He doesn't post his every move. He doesn't narrate his emotions. He lets his actions speak, and even then, they're cryptic. She sees him walk into a room and feels the tension shift. She watches him leave without saying goodbye and feels the absence like a wound. He's not trying to be mysterious. He simply refuses to be predictable. And that unpredictability makes her mind race. She starts filling in the blanks. She starts imagining stories. She starts projecting fantasies. And in doing so, she falls deeper, not for who he is, but for who she imagines he might be. That's the paradox. The less he reveals, the more she invests. The Sigma male doesn't need to be loud to be heard. He doesn't need to be seen to be felt. His silence is louder than their noise. And that silence becomes her addiction. 6. Boundaries are power. She respects the man who doesn't bend. The Sigma male doesn't compromise his boundaries. Not for love, not for lust, not for validation. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for. And that clarity makes him dangerous. She tries to test him. She pushes his limits. She wants to see if he'll bend. But he doesn't. He holds a line. And that resistance earns her respect. Weak men fold under pressure. They say yes when they mean no. They tolerate disrespect in exchange for affection. But the Sigma male is different. He doesn't tolerate what violates his peace. He doesn't entertain what drains his energy. He doesn't negotiate with chaos. His boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. And only the worthy get through. She realizes she can't manipulate him. She can't guilt him. She can't seduce him into submission. And that realization flips the dynamic. She starts adjusting her behavior. She starts respecting his time. She starts craving his approval. Because he's not just a man, he's a standard. And that standard becomes her obsession. Boundaries aren't barriers to connection. They're filters for quality. The Sigma male doesn't bend to be liked. He stands to be respected. And in that stance, he becomes the rarest kind of man. The one who doesn't need her, but the one she desperately wants to earn. Stay informed, stay balanced, and stay strong. Subscribe to Alpha Men Unmasked for more raw, faceless truths about men's health, masculinity, and mental strength. No filters, no fluff, just facts.